Hi, this is Attorney Mike Garvin coming to you from Chicago, as usual. And today we're going to go visit our old friends, Judge Middleton and Deborah Davis, over in St. Joseph County, Michigan, in a little something we're going to call Wild Court Moments number 12. Let's do it.
All right. Mr. Bush is back. That was a handy device to be able to use the conference room. While you were out of the room, Autumn gave us a little bit of update. Autumn, would you repeat that for the benefit of Ms. Dell and Mr. Bush?
I apologize. I was updated by Day Reporting Center staff on Monday, August 30th, that Ms. Becker had went in and tested on August 19th as she had been directed by the court. She was positive on that date for methamphetamine. The cutoff for that confirmation is 50,000 nanograms. Her methamphetamine level was greater than 50,000 nanograms. She tested again positive on August 24th, again for the same amount of level, greater than 50,000 nanograms. She was then a no-show for testing with them on August 26th and August 27th.
Cammie, we also learned you were in the Branch County Jail yesterday or the day before. Why were you in Branch County Jail?
I got picked up on a warrant from June.
For what?
Misdemeanor fraud.
All right. Is that case still pending over there?
Yeah, I'm out on bond.
All right. Mr. Bush is back with us, and he's on camera.
Okay, so here we go. You can see it's sort of a sad situation. We've got another meth addict here, and she's in violation of her probation terms. And it's just an interesting hearing for a lot of reasons.
Mr. Bush, you've had an opportunity to speak privately with Ms. Becker. What does she wish to do here?
She wants a hearing, Your Honor.
All right. Ms. Becker, would you please raise your right hand? Cammie, can you hear me?
Frozen.
She's frozen. Autumn, would you raise your right hand? Cammie, would you raise your right hand? You swear or affirm any testimony you're about to give here will be true to the best of your knowledge and belief.
I do.
All right. Ms. Kiefer, hearsay is admissible in a probation violation hearing, but some of this is your directly knowledge and some of you were informed by the Day Reporting Center. Is it true that Ms. Becker was placed on probation on August 20th?
Well, that's interesting. He says that hearsay is allowed in a probation violation hearing, which makes a lot of sense. Hearsay is one of the biggest problems because then you have to bring all the witnesses in live. But they're trying to expedite this service. And the witness is a probation officer. The judge is going to know the officer and have a good sense of what it is. But it's interesting that that's specifically set out probably in the code somewhere.
28th on a charge of use of methamphetamine.
She was placed on probation on January 20th.
January 28th. I saw the of 2020.
That is correct.
And you filed a probation violation petition alleging violations. What are those alleged violations?
The violations were that Ms. Becker tested positive for methamphetamine on January 31st, February 3rd, February 7th, February 10th, February 11th, the 14th, the 17th, and the 18th of all of 2020. She was also then a no-show for testing on February 19th and February 24th.
And then she last reported on February the 4th.
That is correct.
And then she was off our radar until she got picked up on the bench warrants.
Sorry, you
September 7th, is that correct?
Actually, I have on the status report, she was arrested on September 8th of 2020. She was seen by Your Honor on September 10th.
All right. Gave her 3 days in jail for failing to appear and set the PV hearing for today. You also provided an update to your report. Ms. Davis, do you have any additional questions for Ms. Kiefer?
I do. Ms. Kiefer, is it true that there was actually a probation violation hearing scheduled in October of 2020 after the initial arrest in September of 2020?
Correct.
And did Ms. Becker appear for that hearing as scheduled?
In my notes here in our Register of Actions, October 12th of 2020, the bench warrant was issued by Judge Middleton for failing to test at the DRC as directed.
It's almost as if Deborah knew the answer to that question before she asked it.
October 15th, Judge Middleton ordered her to turn herself into the jail by 3 o'clock, so she was seen. However, Ms. Becker never did turn herself in as ordered by the judge at that time.
Autumn, is it also true that the new Branch County charge could be a basis for the violation of a probation?
It could if Ms. Becker stated it was from an incident in June. She was on probation at that time, and that would be a direct violation of Article 1.
Mr. Bush?
Okay, so we're going to the defense attorney here, and that gets fairly interesting, but I wanted to leave a baseline. I edited a lot out. This was a lot longer hearing, but you get the idea. She's in violation. She has a lot of positive drug tests. She fails to report. She fails to do everything she's supposed to do in her probation, and that's why we're here right now. Oh, and she also gets picked up on other charges.
Do you have any questions for Ms. Kiefer?
Yes. So the record's correct, Ms. Kiefer. She hasn't been discharged, so Cammie Becker is still on probation.
That is correct.
And you went through a litany of February of 2020 tests that were positive. Were those all done at the day reporting center?
Yes, they were.
Can you describe the type of tests those were?
They should have been urine tests. If they were not, she was ordered to comply with CPS as well on her judgment. We were letting her test for them because they were paying for her test. That way she wasn't having to pay out of pocket.
And Mr. Scott or his office was sharing those results with the district court probation office then?
Correct. Bob Scott was. I don't want to stop you, John, but Cammie, are you there? Still there? It looks like you're frozen.
Yeah, now I can hear you. Hold.
Oh, watch this. I know this is a serious situation, but this part is humorous. Just watch Deborah Davis. As usual, her facial expression reflects exactly what I think of the situation.
Hold on. I got to get people to turn off their Wi-Fi. Howard, turn off your Wi-Fi, please. Howard! Turn off the Wi-Fi. Turn off the Wi-Fi.
Yes, that was prosecutor for, oh, no, you didn't.
Sorry, I just didn't want her to miss anything.
Cammie, can you hear us?
Yeah, now I can.
All right, very good.
Ms.
But I
Kiefer,
can't-
during these proceedings, did Cammie ever question any of the test results or give you any explanation of why she felt she was not using methamphetamine?
She usually always did. She always had an excuse. She felt that CPS at that time was trying to make her look like a bad mother. She always had an excuse for every positive test.
Did she ever admit to any positive tests?
I would have to go through all my notes. It's been so long since I dealt with Miss Becker in this case.
Well, in your report, you said Cammie texted Bob Scott, wanted to notify that she was sorry she screwed up.
Did Cammie
That's Judge Middleton telling the defense attorney, don't bother with this. She's made admissions, right out there. I get you're trying to help, but let's move it along in the nicest way possible.
do any other services? Did you ever get going on treatment or counseling?
I don't believe so. We never really got off the dime on this probation, even though Cammie was very adamant that she was going to be able to make it through. Looks like she was authorized to attend a substance abuse group therapy.
Thank you. I have no further questions.
Mr. Bush, does Ms. Becker wish to testify?
Yes, she does, Your Honor.
All right, Cammie, you're under oath. Your lawyer has some questions for you. All right, John, do you just want me to ask her what she wants us to know, or do you want to do a dialogue with her? All right, go ahead, John.
Cammie, you understand now that you are still on probation, and you were able to hear most, hopefully, all of Ms. Kiefer's testimony.
For the most part.
And so we don't beat around the bush. Were you using methamphetamine in February of 2020?
No, sir.
Do you have an explanation of why you had repeated positive methamphetamine tests?
No, actually, because all the positive tests from February 2020 and January of 2020, the only positive tests I had were the mouth swabs per CPS. All my urine tests at that time through the DRC, which you can go back and get the records from DRC, were all negative for 40 days, all negative.
I feel for this defense attorney right here. Clearly, he conferred with his client prior to this, and he's going to give her day in court. This defense is awful because she makes a bunch of contrary admissions, as you'll see as we go. And but he's saying, all right, fine. You want to say that some of the tests were false positives? I'll let you say it. But he knows it's going nowhere, and he's just It's interesting with practicing law. You don't get to choose your facts. And if you have a client that's as guilty as this one is, and the evidence is as strong as it is, there's not a lot you can do. So he's doing the best he can with a bad circumstance.
So Autumn was using my tests per CPS, the mouth swabs that are only 46% accurate, okay, versus my urine tests that were all negative.
Oh, wait a second. I got to pull that back. You get once again, Deborah Davis telegraphs my thoughts exactly.
Mouth swabs that are only 46%
Right here.
accurate, okay, versus my urine tests that were all negative.
To your knowledge, did you ever have a positive urine test for any substance?
Yes, absolutely. At that
Which
time,
one?
no. But have I in the past and have I recently? Yes. Yes, I have.
Did you complete any of the services that were recommended by Community Mental Health?
I haven't completed, but I am still in community mental health. I am still going to counseling. And actually, I believe August 12th of this year, I was in CMH office. Actually, it was the day that we had that really, really bad storm. I was in CMH office trying to get into rehab. And that's why I'm continuing with my community mental health, because to me, that's top priority. That and my substance abuse. I am a drug addict. I can't help that, but I'm trying. I said every week I've been going to see Bobby Joe Newland with my wife because my wife is on parole. And she has seen me every week for the last 9 months.
That was great because we had a warrant out for you for all that time. So it's a clear case of the right hand not knowing what the left hand was doing. Go ahead, Mr. Bush.
In all fairness, I had to edit a lot of this, and it makes Judge Middleton look harsh there, and he really isn't. This woman's a drug addict. She's very manipulative. It's annoying after a while. I feel for her. I have empathy for her, but she is not honest, and she's not playing the game. You'll see even more as it goes on. But I felt like I had to put that in there. It looks a little out of left field, but I cut a lot out of this.
There's an allegation that you were positive just a few weeks ago on August 19th and August 24th. And I believe those were urine tests.
Yes,
Do
sir.
you believe, were those accurate?
Yes, sir.
So you had a relapse then?
Yes.
Have you used since that day?
Not really. I mean, once I think, but I
mean, right there is what I'm talking about. Have you used since that day? Not really. Well, of course, the answer is yes. It clear as a bell, and she sort of even gets to that. But she starts with not really, and you see so much that after a while you start losing your mind, and you start looking at her like Deborah Davis and responding like Judge Middleton. You can't blame them.
I went to jail 2 days ago, and just like, what do you want me to say? I'm a drug addict, and I've been under a lot of stress. I've been dealing with a lot here the last few weeks, and I relapsed.
What do you want the court to do with your probation today?
I don't know. I don't know. What can I do? Do I want to revoke? No. I would like the chance to continue on because, like I said, I've been clean. I was clean for 6 months straight, but then I relapsed. But I've been trying.
Anything further?
I guess, are you homeless today, or do you? I mean, obviously you're not in jail. Do you have a place to live and sleep?
I'm currently sitting at my mom's.
And your mom is Darla Beebe?
Yes, sir. She's sitting right next to me.
Okay.
Cammie, is there anything else you think Judge Middleton should know or understand about your circumstances? This is your chance while you're under oath to testify.
Like I said, I've been clean up until the beginning of, or in the middle of August, right before actually I got arrested. And, yes, I will admit I relapsed recently. I tried to get into treatment before I was arrested.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Judge.
Deborah, I don't know if I need any more. Anything you wish to ask?
No, we have DRC if necessary to testify about the testing, but I don't believe under the circumstances with the admissions that she's made that that's necessary.
Cammie, I could tell you were on meth when I talked to you the last time, which is why I told you to go test here in August. You were very defiant, very unrepentant. The fact that you're trying is a start, but you went AWOL for more than a year. And the fact that you're going in to see Bobby Joe every week, knowing you have a warrant out for your arrest, Bobby Joe didn't know you had a warrant out for your arrest, but then you were poking me in the eye with a stick at the time of the hearing, and then you tested positive for meth, and then you got picked up on an old warrant, which is still unresolved. So I find that you are in violation of your probation by failing to report, and on at least 2 occasions that you admit, probably many other occasions, you were positive for methamphetamine. Originally, you were supposed to turn yourself into the jail, and you gave me the finger. Last time I gave the finger, it showed up somewhere, so I won't do that. But me and my horse. Autumn, what's your recommendation?
The recommendation is for her to serve the deferred time. It was 60 days in jail. She had served some. I'm not sure if you are willing to give her the day that she spent the other day, 55 days in jail.
Mr. Bush, what's your thought here?
Suggest to the court that any progress is a step in the right direction.
That's attorney speak for I've got nothing.
There is an element of punishment with the court. There's also, we have to have some consideration to rehabilitation. She's saying the right things today. The court and counsel are all aware of how seriously addictive methamphetamine is. There probably needs to be some form of punishment. I'm not sure it needs to be the full 55 days, either to get her cleaned out and to continue her probation, or to get her system clean, to discharge her and allow her to make her own informed decisions after that regarding any treatment or therapy.
Cammie, I'll give you the last word. Anything you want to tell me?
I mean,
I'd like to speak as well too, but
Well, let's hear from Ms. Davis, and then we'll hear from Cammie. Ms. Davis, what's your thought here?
Your Honor, the court considered all of the factors, considered the history of Ms. Becker at the time of the sentencing. And with all of that, 55 days were reserved. Those 55 days hanging over her head to get her to comply with treatment and counseling and getting a job, getting a stable place to live. And she has done nothing to improve her situation. What I'm hearing today is a lot of minimizing of what her problem is. She has another apparently theft charge. When I look at her history, retail fraud, lots of theft, and then drugs. And she isn't ready to do this on her own. I think that a stay in jail is appropriate. So the reserve days that were contemplated at the time she was originally sentenced, as well as 3 additional days for the 2 each time that the court looked her in the eyes and said, go test or go turn yourself into the jail, and she chose not to. I think there is 2 times for that, so these 6 additional days in jail for that contempt. What I'm hearing today again is she doesn't have a job, she doesn't have a place to live, her spouse is incarcerated and has a parole hold. The safest place for her to detox is the St. Joseph County Jail, and she can get some treatment started. She can get in touch with CMH through there. And it's not that I'm trying anymore. It's either you do it or you don't, but you're going to be in jail while you figure it out. And then hopefully if she avails herself to the services that we do have, she'll get out after her jail stay and be able to be successful. But this probation went nowhere. It shouldn't be continued.
All right, thank you. Just 1 minute, Cammie. All right, Cammie, what would you like me to know?
like I said, I tried to go into rehab, I believe August 12th or August 14th. You know, I'm a drug addict.
Yes.
Jail-
Well, you don't have to apologize. I mean, you are, when I tell people to stop using meth, it's like saying, hey, why don't you stop breathing? But it was everything else that you did. People often want to go into rehab when they're about to go to jail. You need some rehab, but you also were terribly uncooperative in this probation. And you were off the grid for more than a year. It was a year and a half. You disappeared in February of 20. We didn't catch up with you until August of 21. I'm going to continue your probation as you request. You also told me you were going to turn yourself into jail, and you did not. I'm going to order 61 days jail credit 1 to start tonight, 7 p.m. today, 9/1 of 21. You're still on probation. If you don't turn yourself in, I can execute the rest of the 365-day jail sentence. Your detox needs to start with some...
365-day jail sentence? What's that? What do you mean?
If you don't show up at jail today at 7 o'clock as I'm directed, it will be a further violation of your probation. The maximum punishment is 365 days. So I'm ordering 60, but if you don't show up, you got a bunch of jail hanging over your head. You already pimped me once when you said you were going to show up a long time ago.
Oh yeah, he just said that.
I had you here in person today, but you're going to turn yourself in at the jail at 7 o'clock tonight. We're going to start a 60-day jail sentence with good time, which will be 50 days. Then, when you get in jail, I'm going to explore getting you in an inpatient program with Lisa at the jail. So it isn't like you turn it on like an on and off switch. It's a very difficult process. But you were very defiant, very uncooperative, and it was always somebody else's fault. Well, now the fault's right on top of your head. I'm not going to do any slam dunk. I'm ordering what I originally deferred, which you've earned. 60 days jail, credit 1, probation is continued. You're to turn yourself in at the jail tonight by 7 p.m. If not, there'll be a warrant for your arrest.
Okay, so how much longer are we going to keep her on probation after tomorrow morning when we check?
Wait a minute. So my probation's already ended. So he's keeping me on probation so that he can violate me again if I don't show up to jail. How is that fair?
Who says it's fair? This is something you earn. If you show up tonight at jail, then you don't have to worry about it. If you don't show up, you're subject to further probation violation. You've not been discharged from probation. The court has jurisdiction to keep you on probation for 24 months. And you don't get under that hurdle by absconding and say, well, more than 24 months is up, you can't violate my probation. You've been on abscond status for a year and a half. Show up tonight at 7 o'clock. We'll start the jail sentence. You'll get good time. We'll work on getting you into an inpatient program while you're in there. I suspect you're going to test positive right now. You need to break the cycle, and we're going to do that by some forced incarceration. All right, Kenny. We'll look at this in the morning. I expect you to be there.
Thank you, Judge.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Well, there you have it. I thought that was fascinating. I couldn't believe at the end that she was trying to argue with the judge. The judge was, Judge Middleton was sort of talking tough, but he was really actually very nice. Even her defense attorney had sort of given up, and rightfully so. He can't push there. She's done everything wrong. She violated probation. She's been rude to the judge. Everything you can do. So he can't sit there and say, "Oh no, she doesn't need to go." She needs to go. She needs to be put someplace and get into treatment and certainly be taken off the streets. But I just found it fascinating. She thought she could argue about it, and I'm sure the defense attorney wanted to do something, but he's in another room. It looks like he's in the actual courthouse with Judge Middleton, but his client's in another place. So you can't really stop it. It's another strange aspect of the Zoom proceedings. Here at Law Talk, we like to have fun with silly stuff that happens in court, and every once in a while, and completely by accident, I assure you, you might learn something. Thanks for watching.